Hey there. Happy Aloha Monday, guys. 1 second. Doggie's got to get their treats. It's so funny. I think they see the ring light. I've been trying to figure out how they. Okay, Cassie. Yes, yes, this is what is it, Cassie? Oh, you're going to show them what you got in your mouth? Come on, shoot. She's like, let me chew it. Let me chew it. I can never understand how they out of nowhere they go from okay just sleeping and all that to being this right here right now and I think what it is, sorry, okay, you want down, okay, there you go. I think it's the ring light now. I was thinking, okay, I'm not talking at first. I thought maybe it was when I start talking to you. Then I'm like, no, I don't think it's the talking bit. It's the ring light, I think. So, because right away, even Pia, and Pia, who's right there, the one on this side, they're growling at each other now. She will usually not get up or anything. She hangs out right there. But the moment she knows I'm going live, she's right here by me waiting for a treat. So, anyhow, how are y'all doing here? I've been having a little nice little chit chat in chat prior to our live today. And yes, I was talking to Miss Kim. I've been eating chips and yes, salsa. I ever since the hot ones, I'm like, deal with this, deal with this. And yeah, my version of deal with it is literally that. It's barely there on the edge. And actually, I could probably put a little bit more there. Anyhow, let me put that down because I don't want to be eating in front of you guys. Sorry. And now I am. Okay, that's good. I ate in front of you guys a few weeks ago. We don't need to do that again. So, thanks, Ocean Tide. They drive me crazy. Wrigley, who's down here right now, has this little squeaky toy, and he usually carries it everywhere. Today, he was literally running around the house, just squeaky, squeaky, squeaky. So now I've got Pia there, Cassie. Cassie's the diva. You guys know Cassie, the diva bitch. That's Cassie, and then Wrigley's way over here. Wrigley's my teddy bear. He feels like you pick him up and he just goes, he's a pure teddy bear. So let me say some highs in chat because I see some people in chat I really wanted to say hi to real quick. Kim and I've been talking. Yes. And yeah, guys, we're going to talk about the Menards because I haven't been able to get that out of my head today. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about what's been going on. I had 2 other cases that they found both of the people. So I've been trying to find the right case for today. And we have the Menards, but there's also a case of a mother and father who were killed in their house while their 4 children were hiding. And they're looking for the person who killed, that male and female. So we may cover that one also at some point. Both cases are really, I can't get out of my head right now. So Ocean Tide is here. Hello, hello, Ocean Tide. How you doing, my dear? And I love it. We're making friends in chat. Michelle, how you doing, my dear? And what a day. Oh, yeah, BC's the other one who knows. It's been really hard to get these cases. I just can't get out of my head. How you doing, Daria? Love you, my dear. And also, I love it when I get people all coming in here and everything. It's a nice feeling. Okay, you get friends when you're out and about in other YouTube lands. And also, it's kind of nice when we all come together and I get to see them. Love you, Daria. And so I think that's where we are right now. We got a fairly small crowd right now. I'm trying to get back onto my normal schedule, but as most of you guys know, I'm in the middle of craft fair season for me. I had a K-pop convention yesterday, and this week, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I have Honolulu Comic Con. So I'm going to see if I can go live from the convention center on Friday. I'm going to talk to my friend. I know, well, it's my time zone, girl. Well, plus other people go live too. But yeah, my time zone really screws people up. I can't wait till November. And because Hawaii doesn't do the time zone bit, time change bit. So hopefully that will be helping because we're 1 less hour difference, which is so much nicer for me. So it'll only be 5 hours to the East Coast instead of 6. So Ocean Tide is waiting for her. Oh, what you getting for dinner? And are you doing like a Uber Eats type thing or just making dinner and waiting for it to go ding? 'Cause that's usually what I do. Yeah, throw it in the microwave. Ding, it's ready. So anyhow, I got some hot tea with me today. Good Earth's herbal one. So good. It's almost like a chai tea. It's so, so good. And then I got a Coke if I decide to open it. But so, like I said, we have two cases here today. I was looking for looked at two other missing people cases, usually missing Mondays. And I was so I've been looking at two of these cases. One was a young woman who had diminished mental capacity, who had been talking to someone on the internet, and that person kind of lured her away. So a lot of times we talk about that with teenagers, but this was someone a little older, okay, in their 20s, and people were really worried about her. And good news is she came home. She was able to make it home, and she's safe now, which is great. Veggie rolls with rice. Oh my God, that sounds good. I had the best. We went out for rice hot pot type thing the other day, rice noodle hot pot type thing. And it was I meant to share it with all you guys. It was let me see if I can see this picture. There's the gecko from the other day. Um, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? There it is. And I don't know if it'll show up real good. Well, you got my new there. So it was some pork broth soup, and then you had all of these other goodies which don't show real well. I'll have to post the picture because you had all these little goodies that you throw into the broth. And, oh, it was so good. So that I did a few days ago. So the other case though was a young woman in I think it's Florida who disappeared while she was out running. They'd been looking for her and they had video of her running. You could see her out running. She was jogging and she disappeared. Um, and we know how dangerous that it's. People don't go jogging and you get videos of jogging and then they just decide to run off on their own. That doesn't happen. And unfortunately, they did find her remains this morning. So I was looking at different cases, and these are two cases I had been looking at. I know a lot of you have been looking at. Hey, JP, how you doing, my dear? Aloha, my dear. Hope you're doing good. Let me see where we are actually on the thing here. We're at okay. So the Menards seem to be the case that most of you guys have been covering, looking into. A couple of you guys have that you have not heard anything about either case. Couple of you, I think probably one, has been looking at both cases, and no one just looking at Crimea and Sean. We may get to Crimea Baker and Sean Lange today. They are the ones who their four children hid in the house while someone else came in. And I mean, the number of rounds, I forget exactly what it is, but we're double digit. I think it was like 40, 50 rounds, okay, that were let loose in the house. And no one called 911 or anything. The children finally felt safe enough when the sun came up to come out of hiding. And also, it's something we need to talk. 42, is that it? Okay, I know it's like 42, 47, something like that. So 42, get that, guys. Okay, 42 rounds living in an area with other houses near you. No one calls 911. Okay. You know, in most neighborhoods, you know, if there are children living in the houses around you, I would think, at least I do. And no one heard that. No one called 911 to say, hey, you know what? I'm hearing a lot of gunfire going on at this house. You might want to send police out. They're now looking for the person who is involved in that. Definitely a crime of passion we're talking about here. Amy, love you, my dear. How are you doing, Amy? And this case, actually, both of these cases, Amy, you'd be interested in. But the Crimea one that I'm talking about, for Crimea and Sean, yeah, we may go through both today if we have time. If not, we will definitely do another one. I'm just JP. I get you. I get you. Yesterday, it was like, okay, I can make it through the day. I can make it through the day. And we all just need like a week of vacation, real vacation. So, okay, let's bring Did it? See, I haven't gotten deep enough into it, and that's why part of me is like, should I go and cover it today? But we can start coverage of it today, because I have heard a little bit more about the Menards now, and as of sorry, dog wants back up. Um, as of this morning, I was worried that we may have been on the edge of seeing another serial killer situation. Menards went missing. This is the story of a couple, both of them in their 70s. And leave them. Oh, wow. So you can get some rest, which is very nice. And the couple in their 70s disappeared. Okay, people found their car. They had their little dog, a little Shih Tzu, and they had gone missing, and people were looking for them and all. You haven't heard about this case yet? This one has kind of been sneaking. Both of these cases have been sneaking under the radar. Is some coverage out there, especially the Menards. What really got me this morning, I was just going to kind of drop it because they were found. Unfortunately, they were found no longer with us. And someone was arrested. Someone was arrested, and he must have spoken. Then they came in, and we're going to be looking at some of this. They tore down, okay, the house this guy lived in, and they found their remains in the basement. But what really got me this morning and led to the thumbnail and all was actually some discussion as after the remains were found, okay, everyone thought, okay, we're good. Then all of a sudden this morning, new information came out that more remains were found. The wording of that was very, very confusing, okay, because, well, they already had these remains. So are they connected to these remains? Is there a serial killer going on here? This guy was their next door neighbor. It was the next door neighbor who killed both Stephanie and Daniel. And so let me pull up our first video just so some of you guys, I know this is a totally new case, so we're kind of going to introduce the case to all of us at once. Okay, my computer has been being a bit of a pain in the ass. Yeah, you get it. Okay, here we go. I think this is my first one. Yeah. So here we go with the first one. So this actually came out 2 days ago. There is a more recent one we're going to watch next. Hey, V Tim, how you doing, my dear? And we'll watch that one second. And that's more connected to today because today was the first time finally in the news they made a comment in the middle of the news discussion saying that police feel the remains are all connected to the Menards, that there is not a third person involved or fourth or any of that. So that you can't feel good about a case like this, but that did make me feel better because this guy to go from 0 to 150. Okay, over all people can think about is there was a fight between the two neighbors over a tree branch. That's all. And and that was the thing, Amy. If they're finding more remains, doesn't mean and that's what I think we're probably talking about here. That he probably dismembered, okay, the couple, and they're finding them in various locations. But with the way they came into the house, I mean, they demolished this house. They didn't just go in. I have not seen this level of demolishing in a case. I don't know why they took that step that way. It's just so different from just going in and looking around the place because he was arrested. And hey, cluck, 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 chicken lady. How you doing, my dear? So let's go ahead and let me make sure I got, yep, closed captioning is.
Now, I'm Austin Westfall to Southern California for our next story, and there's a lot to unpack with this one. Officials have discovered human remains under a home in Redlands, California. The man who owns that home is suspected of murdering his neighbors, an elderly couple who.
So you can figure it out pretty much from here. These are the four that we're going to hear the most with. Okay, we have Stephanie and her husband. We've got the pup there. And then the guy in the middle in the circle is the one who was arrested and will be charged with their, if he hasn't already been charged. I think he may have already been charged.
Call a nudist ranch home. Fox 11's Matthew Seedorf is in Redlands, and he has more on the story. He joins us now. Matt, what can you tell us?
Oh, Austin, for the last week or so, people in this area have frantically been looking for this elderly couple. And tonight, police believe they have found their remains. And right now, police are actually still guarding the entrance to this neighborhood. A lot of people out here tell me they can't believe this happened. A nudist ranch in San Bernardino County now devastated.
It's sad. It should have never happened.
The almost week-long search for Daniel and Stephanie Menard ending Friday with their next-door neighbor, Royce Sparks, arrested for murder.
Okay, look at that. They literally, from my understanding, they arrested him, okay, and they lived right next door, okay? We're not talking a block down or something. They were next-door neighbors. They arrested him, then they come in, okay, probably after talking with him, I guess. They are saying he is not being cooperative whatsoever. They made the decision to do this to his home. They leveled the home, which is interesting to me, that knowing that there was a possibility of remains there, they would not have just broken down the door and gone through it room by room by room. I'm not sure if they felt like they had to do this to get down into the bunker, as they're calling it. Some people are saying it's like a basement. And that's what I'm wondering. And we're not getting a lot more description on a lot of this. Was it that no one could get into this area? That he had to, because actually when he was arrested, from my understanding, that's where he was before he came out. And so there had to be easy access to it. So it doesn't make sense there. Okay, they should have had easy access, and you wouldn't think they'd want to totally destroy it. But I'd really like to know what their thought process is on this.
The couple's possible remains discovered underneath his home.
We've located human remains. We believe that Dan and Stephanie are deceased.
Since last weekend, missing person flyers have hung in windows at Olive Dell Ranch.
I just want some answers too.
Irene Encraft noticed the couple's car abandoned on a nearby road Sunday, and when they didn't show up to church, she went to their house.
We went in and there was Stephanie's purse and their phones were still there and everything. That's when we knew something. This isn't normal.
While the officers
Okay, so first of all, BC, so you're saying, see, I wasn't, so I may not have understood all this correctly. So they were trying, I knew they were trying to get him to surrender. So I was thinking that the tearing of it down happened the next day. So is this happening at the same time? If you can clarify that, because I may have that wrong in my head. Would not be the first time. And now, a couple of things here. When they talk about the stuff they found for her, okay, see, you may have watched too much of it, just slightly. And also, I kept trying to watch little bits of things. It's hard to watch stuff while you're actually trying to make sales at a craft show. Really problematic. But Stephanie, in this case, actually used a cane to walk. So the idea she would be out about walking or doing anything, that's one of the reasons why a silver alert was put out in this case, because my understanding, Daniel had dementia. He was diabetic. So he needed medication. He also had dementia. Stephanie needed a cane to walk. This is not the type of couple that would just up and disappear. And how they were found out that they had gone missing is they were really loved in this, okay, nudist colony, whatever you call it. But the community itself really loved them. They went to church, okay, and they never missed church. So when they missed church is when everyone was like, whoa, we got a problem here. They didn't come to hang out with everyone afterwards, okay, and stuff like that. So it's like, wait, something's up. Okay, so they did that as a way to actually find him. Oh, wow. Wow. I need to go back and check all the, wow. That's dangerous as all get out, but yeah. JP, that kind of explains the destruction of the house with that being on an underground bunker. They were trying to, yeah. And as we're finding out now, they most likely he dismembered them. And so he didn't serve. Okay, so I had that wrong then. So he didn't surrender until he had no choice. I did see video of where not video, but a screenshot of where he actually surrendered. And so from my understanding, he did, before surrendering, he tried to unalive himself. And my understanding is the weapon misfired. And all. So let me know if I'm wrong on that, BC, but that's what I was reading right before this. And I was like, good. He's going to have to hold up and, okay, deal with justice now. Okay, which is, yeah, justice for the, okay, that is correct. Thank you, BC. And, okay, let's go back to.
We're here. They received a tip.
Following a tip Thursday, SWAT teams used
Look at
armored
that.
vehicles to tear through Sparks' home, occasionally getting stuck in holes. Late Thursday night, the couple's 62-year-old neighbor surrendered to police underneath his house. Was there some sort of reported tunnel system underneath the house?
There are no tunnels that we can tell. There is a space about 5 feet deep.
So like a dugout bunker?
It was concrete. It goes back maybe to the back of the property.
Mike was very quiet and laid back. It's hard to believe.
He didn't like the Menards. You know, he'd said it many times that he hated them. But I never thought he'd do something like this.
According to Redlands police, Sparks tried to shoot himself with a rifle, but it misfired moments before his arrest.
We're all shocked in that because they were good neighbors.
A neighborhood now mourning the lives of a couple they call friends. And tonight, the couple's dog named Cuddles is still missing. Crews are going to be back out here tomorrow digging for those remains.
And that's where a lot of things gone. There's more to this article, but I haven't, BC, you may have gotten more information on the dog. I'm hearing different stories on that, and I'm not sure if it's just timeline is mixed up in people's head as to whether or not the dog has been found or not. I know that's something that I can't get out of my head. But when they came back in, that's when we started getting the news about, okay, other remains being found, additional remains. That was the word they used, additional remains. JP is saying, well, there's a big difference, cement basement and cement bunker. Yeah, and that's been a lot of the issues. There's been a lot of wording that is nebulous to some degree and can be taken into just like additional remains. Okay, it was confusing enough. Okay, additional as in additional people or additional as in dismembered, or God, I even hate saying that word, but yeah. You haven't kept up on the dog. I've kind of looked for things on the dog and I'm hearing different. I did hear some who are saying the dog is no longer with us now. But I've also heard that the dog just hasn't been found. So it could be JP that it ran off in fear, and hopefully it'll be found in that case. But yeah. Okay, let me go.
Reporting live, Matthew Seedorf, Fox 11 News.
You know, Matt, I have a quick question for you here. We're playing some video that we saw yesterday. We saw law enforcement, as we saw in your package. We saw them absolutely tearing this place apart in Redlands. At the time, we didn't know exactly what was going on. We heard some testimony in your piece, but how is the community reacting? What more are people saying? Do other people live at the nudist ranch?
There's a lot of people that live here and a lot of people that seem to really love this couple, as well as this man that, you know, is allegedly responsible. And it seems like, generally speaking, no one can believe this happened. They heard of some, you know, quarrels between these two neighbors. They lived right next to each other. One instance, for example, involving a tree in between the two properties. But generally speaking, no one expected anything like this to happen.
Has Sparks been charged yet? What comes next?
Yeah, police are charging him with murder, but right now, again, police are still looking for the actual bodies. They did say that, you know, they have discovered remains, but they couldn't really go into detail what that means or if it was the remains of two people, one person. So again, tomorrow they're going to be doing that dig, and hopefully we'll have more answers then.
Matthew Seedorf reporting for us in Redlands tonight. Thanks, Matt.
So that kind of gives us an idea of where we were as of 2 days ago. And that actually was one of the better videos I saw. By the way, hi, Chris. Yeah, this case has been around for probably about a week or so, where people, like I said, it was a silver alert. So for those of us who are keeping an eye out for the missing, it was definitely something that was on our radar. It's one thing to get a silver alert out for a single person, but for it to come out with a couple, that was different. That was something where your alarm bells went up a little bit more. And both of these people, okay, first of all, you had age. Second of all, you had disability issues. And also, so we're at that point, we didn't know, okay, are we talking about the potential? Because in my eyes, we're sitting here talking about this guy who literally went from 0 to 100. Yeah, he didn't sound like the greatest guy, but he seemed not like all over the place or anything. When you talk to, okay, the one gentleman they talked to in the car was like, yeah, it didn't seem like this was a guy who was screaming, yelling every which way in the world. Yes, the two neighbors definitely had issues. And, but to go from screaming at each other or having a fight with each other over a branch on your tree, okay, to murder, okay, and that's a huge jump right there. Huge jump. Yeah, I'm really, and that's what worried me when I started thinking that thought process in my head, not knowing everything, but thinking that way. And then when I started hearing this morning, the wording additional remains, that's why all of a sudden I'm like, wait, is this what he would do with anyone who really pissed him off? Is this his modus operandi for when he gets pissed off? Could there actually be other people there? In my head, there was a possibility, especially if you had the cement bunker type thing that went to the back of his property. Definitely. But I didn't know. I didn't know for sure. Now, what has come out since this next video is from just 2 hours ago. Okay, and this is the first time finally we're really getting some clarified discussion that no, it is not other people's remains. And yeah, that's it, BC. Rage these days happens with the smallest thing. Okay, a lot of people, especially, okay, there's a certain group of people who don't know how to show their emotions. Okay, and then they blow. Is that the type of guy this guy is? Okay, yeah, did he have other properties? Things like that, because this is a huge jump to go from just neighbor, but not the best of neighbors, to killing 2 people and dismembering those people. Big jump there. And also, let me pull up this next thing. So this next video was from 2 hours ago. And a little bit more information in here. Let's go for it.
Demolished home of a Redlands suspect. Police are wrapping up.
Okay, so you can kind of see it here. Okay, that house was totally torn down. He has neighbors on both sides. One side is another neighbor. In fact, I think they interview her in this one. I'm not sure if this is the video that does that. The other side was the Menards. And then of course you have the tree that we've heard about, and that's about it. Or is he the guy in Arizona that had the remains? Not sure about that one, Chris.
Up their search in the rubble for evidence in the presumed murders of the elderly couple who lived next door.
Cadaver dogs discovered human remains in an underground bunker at the home just days after the couple went missing. KTLA's Shelby Nelson is live in Redlands with the very latest for us. Shelby.
Sure, Micah. Detectives wrapped up their investigation here at Olive Dell Ranch Nudist Resort. But looking back to last week, when we first reported on this, it was a missing persons case. And we had spoken to John. It was a neighbor to the left of the Menards. But we had been standing right in front of the Menards home, not knowing that the suspect was just to the right of them. And, you know, who knows what could have happened had we knocked on their door. I think a lot of neighbors are feeling this same exact way. And it's a little bit more intense, right? Because they live here. They say that it's extremely shocking. One woman says she hasn't even been able to sleep, knowing that her friends, the Menards, likely suffered a heinous death.
To the left, a home is still standing where Stephanie and Dan Menard lived. And to the right,
So you can kind of see the tree here. Okay, if that is the home there, that's the tree that we hear about at times, that there may have been an argument about, okay, branches crossing the property lines and stuff like that.
behind this fence is what remains of their neighbor and alleged killer's home.
When I look out my window or I open my door, I can see it. And it's still traumatizing. I could see inside his house.
All there is now is a pile of rubble and a cement bunker underneath.
I have heard it described basically as a basement.
And inside is where Redlands police recovered human remains.
As far as we know, the remains that we've recovered are those of Dan and Stephanie, and there are no others.
Police were out at the Olive Dell Ranch nudist resort wrapping up their investigation inside. So much happening within about a week, which even prompted Labor Day festivities at the park getting canceled. It was August 24th when the couple was last.
Okay, this is a great, one of the reasons why I played this is they really got a good timeline, because I know some of us have been following this. Some of us, my dog's trying to give me a ball to play with. One sec, let me. Okay, go get the ball. Go get the ball. There you go. And also, by the way, hi, Crazy for Reptiles. And oh, come here, little girl. There you go. You can be here. Or you want to say hi again? Is that it? You want to say hi again? And but they've got a really good timeline for those people who haven't heard about the story much. And yeah, all of this over, Kim, you got it. It's over nothing. Okay, so that's why when all of a sudden you hear additional, your mind does go there. Because if someone literally would kill a couple over just neighbor, doesn't even sound like it was bad neighbor issues. Okay, everyone loved this couple. What else is he going to do? What's he going to do with other people? Okay, if he gets upset at someone, road rage, things like that, you can't help but wonder what goes on. But okay, so as we're seeing here, August 24th was the last time they were seen. So August 24th being Saturday. So yeah, when they didn't show up on Sunday for church, that's when they got reported missing. And also, let's continue.
Seen at their home inside the Olive Dell Ranch nudist resort. The next day, friends reported them missing along with their dog Cuddles. From then on, the search continued up until August 29th, when police were tipped off about their neighbor, 62-year-old Michael Sparks. He eventually surrendered to police and is now charged with murder. The next day, police announcing they'd found the human remains of at least one person. And over the weekend, they recovered even more human remains stuffed in bags within that bunker.
I still get nauseous. My hands shake. My heart races. I don't think I can stay there.
Tammy,
can you see that as a neighbor? To know people that you loved. Okay, and this is not the type of neighborhood where people don't know each other. They all know each other in this neighborhood. You can tell that from the discussions. Okay, we'll do Cristola. Everyone knows each other. Everyone hangs out with each other and all. And to know that not only were two of your friends murdered, okay, but to know things such as dismembering, things like that, and know that that was happening in that house that you're looking at right now. Okay, walk out into your yard right now, your driveway, and then look at a house and picture what these people are having to go through right now. And
Wilkerson, who lives on the other side of Sparks, has been staying in a motel while police investigated. She says the Menards were her friends, and it's difficult to know their presumed bodies were so close. She also was friends with Sparks, but never suspected he could be responsible for their death, even though she knows they didn't get along.
He was mad because Dan cut some tree limbs on a tree that belonged to him, and he has held a grudge ever since then.
Now we're told code enforcement is probably going to be out here tomorrow to red tag that property. As for the human remains, the county coroner, the San Bernardino County coroner, is working to identify those remains and determine a cause of death. And now as for Sparks, he is scheduled to be arraigned tomorrow in San Bernardino. Reporting live in Redlands, I'm Shelby Nelson, sending it back to you in the studio.
Shelby, thank you.
okay, so that kind of gives you a better understanding of the area. I really liked with that one. It does show you exactly what the neighborhood looked like, how close the houses were and stuff. Because originally, when I heard nudist ranch, I was thinking this large, large area where I was thinking more ranch style, and it's not that by any means. Okay, totally different than what I was thinking of. And also, I'm going to go through one last article on this one, and then I'm going to segue us into Crimea Baker and Sean Lange, because that is a case where, at least this case, we kind of know who is involved, and we just need to make sure they get actual justice. This couple deserves justice right now. And we know Mr. Sparks is the one who, you know what, he tried to take the easy way out. That was not allowed to him. So now he's going to have to face justice. Okay, here to begin with, and then maybe somewhere else after. But okay, for right now, he's going to be having to answer in the court of law. And yeah, that's nothing to take a life for. For him to get that angry over something, it's just, it doesn't make sense. For someone to do that, there's history. That, especially someone that age, okay, it's like me, I'm 53 years old. Who I am now is who I've been my whole life. Okay, and yes, accidents happen. Things happen where just a fight gets going too far and you put, okay, maybe someone pushes someone and they hit their head or something. Those are cases I'm like, oh gosh, yeah, I know that might be something not the norm of what they expected. But this is calculated. This sounds much more calculated. So what other calculated stuff has been in his past? And this is where we started. Good night, JP. Sleep tight, my dear. And this is where we started getting concerned earlier today, was when they started talking about more human remains being found this morning. And but there's some good information in here, which is why I wanted to go over this. We don't know anything about Sparks. That, yeah, exactly. There is like nothing about him other than that he was an okay guy and everything. Okay, not like the rave of the party. He's not like the friend that everyone wanted to be with, but he wasn't someone that people were like, oh my gosh, telling their kids, you don't want to go by this neighbor's house. It didn't sound like that type of guy either. So, yeah. So anyhow, this was actually off of Crime Online, and as they've been picking up the case also. Additional human remains were found, okay, as he was arrested last week for murder following the disappearance of his neighbors. So 62-year-old, okay, with 73-year-old Stephanie and 79-year-old Daniel. Now remember, Daniel had dementia. Okay, Stephanie walked with a cane. Now, I'm not saying that, oh, well, they're old, so it should be treated, but come on now. 62-year-old, I mean, what this couple probably had to deal with is they probably didn't have much of a chance, to be honest. And my heart goes out thinking with Daniel, who probably, due to dementia, had even more issues trying to figure things out as stuff was happening. And you know what? If he did, I don't know when this tree thing happened, but anyone who's dealt with dementia also knows people can get very argumentative when there is dementia going on. And Michael Sparks should have known stuff like that. And I'm not sure what the time frame is on that, but all these things play in. On Sunday, investigators recovered additional remains during their fourth day of searching the property located at Olive Dell Ranch Nudist Resort in Colton. A fire department search and rescue team found the remains in bags inside a concrete bunker. So the question is the additional, okay, are all of these remains being found in bags? Okay, was he literally filling up bag after bag and just hiding them in different areas? Or did they all get mixed up with the house being demolished? Quite a few questions. They have yet to be identified. We are confident that they are the deceased and they are still here on the property. And so that's good. That's been added. When officers initially arrived at the defendant's home, he had barricaded himself inside with a rifle, prompting the use of a drone and battering ram to gain entry. They located him in a cement bunker beneath the house, Shortly before his arrest, he attempted to unalive himself, but police said the rifle misfired. A woman who reported the missing couple to 911 on Sunday said she became worried when they failed to attend their usual Friday potluck and karaoke at the neighbor's home. So they're starting to realize, okay, they're missing a lot of the things that they would normally be at. Neighbor Irene Incraft recounted that on Sunday she was heading to church when she spotted the couple's abandoned car. After checking their home and attending church, she could not find them. Nearby residents told KTLA that Sparks held a long-standing grudge against the couple and they had an ongoing feud. Meanwhile, a friend of the missing couple told the news that they were active members of a nudist ranch community at Olive Dell Ranch RV Park in Colton where they lived. They're very sweet people. There's not a mean bone in their body at all, which makes this very confusing. Their vehicle was found unlocked down the road from their home. Stephanie's purse and Daniel's cell phone were both discovered inside their home. That's what threw people off. Why is the car down the road some, leading people to this idea that they were leaving and all this other, yet cell phones at the house? Okay, and if it's someone with dementia and they're used to always carrying their phone, they're always going to have their phone because you follow those repetitive behaviors. Okay, her purse, from my understanding, her cane was still in the house. There's no way she would have gone anywhere without that cane. So sounding to me like someone actively put their car there to kind of mislead people. There's no way that Stephanie or Dan could have walked away from that car. She has a cane. It was at her home, her purse, their cell phones. They would never have left those at home. Anyone with information, please contact 909-798-7681. So that's where we are with this case right now. Okay, this really loved couple that a lot of people cared about. Which makes it sound like they were attacked there. It's leading this idea by, they disappeared from their car. Their car's a couple blocks. I don't know how far down. I'd have to go and check that. And, they must have been attacked in that car. So, of course, police are going to look around that car in the vicinity for clues. They may not necessarily jump to looking around their house and the next door neighbor's house for clues. So yeah, exactly, BC, exactly. And so we'll have to see where things go with this. I don't know if he was actually, today is Monday, so I would think he has been charged now. I'll have to double check that one, but I think that's what we're looking at this time. Hopefully we are not talking about other acts of violence towards anyone else. I'm sure police are going to probably look at that right now, but we'll have to see what happens with that. So what's your guys' thoughts on this? Okay, how many of you guys, let me look where we were on this right now. With the thing, half of you had looked into this case already. And this next case, actually, very few of you have actually looked into. So I do want to move on to this case because this next case is, they don't have a person arrested yet. They're still looking for who did this. And what was done in this case has beyond destroyed families. It has these children. There were 4 children, all under the age of 13, who hid in their house for hours upon hours upon hours after they heard a volley of gunfire, which took the life of their mom and dad. These kids hid, probably at least the older ones, scared to death that they were next on the list. Okay, think about what is going through these kids' head. Okay, oh my gosh, they're probably looking around for us. They're probably, think about it. When you were a child, Okay, the fears of, we've seen the horror movies of the child hiding under a bed or something like that. Okay, as someone's walking around the house. That's what's probably in these kids' head. So they've now not only lost mom and dad, but they have been scarred by a nightmare that probably is still visiting them every single night, and when they go to sleep. And also they're trying to deal with all of these things at the same time. And right now, we don't know who actually did this. Again, earlier I said 42 rounds. That is a crime of passion. That is anger. That's not just someone coming in, and killing someone. That's overkill. And also the chances are, and some people have tried to guess who it is and stuff like that, chances are it's someone that these kids may have known. And definitely one of the two, who were killed knew. So I'm going to move us of, Cassie, would you stop? You're like up, down, up, down, up, down. Yes, you are. I love you. And you may be up, down, up, down, up, down, but I love you anyhow. So, okay, let me go here. And this is a pretty good thing. This one came out just under 23 hours ago. This happened, about 4 days ago? Something like that, 4 or 5 days ago. So it's fairly new. They're trying to figure out who did it, and trying to ask the community for help for that now. There is some potentials where people were thinking that maybe it was an ex of one of them. We'll kind of go over that a little bit as we get a little further on, but let's start this one real quick.
A killer and a community is in mourning 1 week after 2 people were murdered as they slept in a home in Frederick County. The sheriff called it a crime of passion. Tara Lynch is live at 11. Tara, what are you hearing from investigators?
Hey, in the bushes. No problem, my dear. It's cool. It's cool. Have you heard about this? We just finished talking about the Menards, and I'm going on now to the case of Crimea Baker and Sean Lange, who were killed in their house while their 4 children were hiding. Yeah, and that's the thing, BC. These kids should feel safe. Their family, BC was telling me earlier that this family built this house. This was probably their dream home, what they'd always wanted. These kids, this is what you haven't heard. This was a new one to me, actually. This was introduced to me, actually. BC helped share this with me this morning. And immediately, I can't get these 4 kids out of my mind. I can't, just the thought of what they went through during those hours while they literally hid in the house as 42 rounds were shot off downstairs, in a different room, whatever it was, and then staying hidden until the sun came up. And no one in the neighborhood called 911. No one reported this. It took the kids feeling safe enough to come out of hiding to let the police know what was going on. So,
investigators and friends of the victims. Well, Kelsey, the search for that killer is now entering its 2nd week. Of course, last Sunday, Crimea Baker and Sean Lange were shot and killed in their bed in their home as 4 children hid inside that home in Newmarket. The Frederick County Sheriff tells me that this case is unlike any other that he's seen in his 34-year career.
This is a very unique, pretty complicated case.
42 shots rang out on Mangalong Court at 1:30 in the morning on August 25th. Crimea Baker and Sean Lange were both killed in their bed with 4 children in the home. Baker was the mother of all 4, Lange the father of one of them. All of the children are 13 years old or younger.
A 10-year-old said that someone came to the house yesterday and there is blood all over the bed.
I can't imagine what was going through their minds. They were hiding throughout the house, and at some point, I guess they felt safe enough to come forward and find out what was going on and make the call.
The sheriff's office says doorbell cameras captured the sound of the shots being fired. The department says it's expanded the investigation.
Doorbell cameras catch this. No one else. No one else. Where are we nowadays? I mean, where you can hear gunshots going off in your neighborhood. Yes, I get it. Maybe people were scared. Oh my gosh, if I go reporting this, but you know what? You can make calls. Okay, you can make these calls. You can stay anonymous if you can do whatever. But in the end, this is people's lives. What if now the chances are with 42 shots, they were probably killed pretty quickly. My gut is saying that. Chances are that if 911 had been called, they probably would not have made a difference. Okay, with that level of violence. However, what if? What if one of those 42 shots, okay, were spread out among 6 people, not 2? Okay, starts making more and more of a chance that someone could have been saved. What if that had happened? Yes, we can play what ifs forever. But you know what? What if an ambulance had shown up? These children could have been pulled into custody immediately. Okay, and other families come to help support them instead of them fearing for their lives for hours and hours. No one reported it.
Beyond the Maryland state line and has added more manpower to find the person responsible.
We have talked to the husband, the ex-husband in Miami. He alibied, which we're checking into the information.
I'm going to take that back just a second because I do want to go through that. But BC, yes, you hit that one perfectly on the head right there. You know who found these kids? Okay, mom and dad? The oldest, a 13-year-old. A 13-year-old literally walked into mom and dad's room after hiding, scared for their life all night long, to find mom and dad in bed with 42 shots, where 42 shots had rung out. And Scotty, how you doing? It is always, yeah. And that's the thing, Scotty. That's the problem. And by the way, welcome, my dear. People are like that. People are like, I mean, literally, we've heard, I forget the name of the case, or if that's even this case within here, but there's New York. Okay, there was a case where literally someone was being stabbed and people are all standing around, or they pull out their camera. Okay. You got your phone, you're taking pictures, but you can't call 911. I mean, we just totally forget about doing what's right anymore. It pisses me off to know. And this poor kid, okay, ends up, instead of the police getting called, where the police would have come to the house, would have seen what happened, and would have made sure, okay, kids, come on. We want to, okay, close doors and all, so the kids didn't see anything. This 13-year-old will live the rest of their life with that picture in their head. That can't be taken away. That cannot be taken away at all. So what comes up here is one of the things immediate, 13-year-old, yeah, and that's where the prayers need to be right now, is these children and any other children, because from my understanding, there were other children that may be, okay, in other households and all. They've lost parents through this. But these who saw, gosh, no one should have to see that at that age. And I don't know, 13-year-old may have seen it, but do we know that a younger child didn't kind of peek around or something like that? It's very possible. Yeah, thankfully the kids are here. That's exactly it. Okay, many times in a case like this, they do take the lives of the rest of the family. Family annihilator. Okay, how many family annihilator situations do we know about? It happens all the time. And that could have been the case here. That now is one of the reasons why many people, combined with crime of passion, this had to be a crime of passion. Too much anger, too much, okay, emotion tied to it, that it's like even the police have said from the beginning, neighbors do not need to fear for their lives in this. Most likely, this couple knew the person who killed them. And that's where a lot of people started jumping and trying to make, try to make the little connections happen. And people started saying, oh, well, it's so and so, or it's this person, or it's that person. I, in fact, had to go and ask when I was talking with BC, I'm like, do we know for sure that that's the person of interest, or is that just what we're saying is the person of interest? One of the people that has been pointed at is Crimea's ex. People have wondered whether or not he is involved. He's the one who would have been involved in this. Hey, get a look-see. How you doing? Welcome, my dear. And also, you agree, if I heard 42 shots next door, knowing there were kids there, and that's the thing. Okay, you should call no matter what, but knowing there were children there. Okay, that's what gets me. And no problem, Kim. I do that type of thing all the time. So, but yeah, it's for not making that type of call. But this ex, a lot of people started thinking ex, anger, all these things. Okay, yeah, it's got to be this person. Okay, there may have been other red flags because, yes, red flags, again, are not guaranteed of innocence or guilt. It's a red flag. That's all a red flag is. It's something that makes you think, there could be a connection here. And if you get enough red flags, then yeah, the likelihood of the connection, it's kind of like Misha's husband. There were a hell of a lot of red flags, but I'm like, I don't feel comfortable quite yet saying this, and family doesn't feel comfortable. So nope, we're not going to go there yet. But yeah, there's a lot of red flags here. Now, oh, hell yeah. And he's been listed. He's been arrested. And we're still looking for Misha, by the way, for anyone who's been wondering. They're out every day. I mean, the videos, they're everywhere. So, the ex, a lot of people were thinking. So now this is where they're talking about the ex, because is the person of interest who has never been named by the police, but is the person of interest this ex? Looks like the ex does have an alibi. They live in Florida. Okay, so pretty far away here. And based off of that alibi that far away, probably not the one involved, unless, of course, they're set something up or things like that. The police are looking into that now, though, because it's not enough. You can say you have an alibi, but that alibi has to be checked out also. So
The person responsible.
We have talked to the husband, the ex-husband in Miami. He alibied, which we're checking into the information he gave us.
At a vigil for the victims on Friday, Jessica Wilson says she's known Crimea since elementary school, growing up together in Illinois. Many remembered Crimea's bright personality.
We're like sisters, and she was just such a fun human being.
I knew as soon as I met Crimea that she was somebody that I wanted to have in my life, because she was just so beautiful and she was just such a good person.
Now the search for a killer enters its 8th day after tragedy on a quiet Frederick County cul-de-sac.
We're pausing that there. Okay. There's the neighborhood. What's the chance of not hearing gunshots? 42 of them in fairly quick succession, I would think, for both of them for one not to escape. What's the chance of you not hearing something in that type of location? That's what gets me. This is not like a large area or something like that. Okay, they're next door neighbors. This is a brand new house. Okay, they built this house. This looks like it looks like a nice little neighborhood where people are. Yeah, it's zero. Absolutely zero. Scotty is saying a good friend of mine lost her youngest daughter. I'm sorry, my dear. It's hard when you have friends who have gone through these things. It affects you. It does. I'm sorry, my dear. It was the ex of her boyfriend's sister and his family who killed the entire. Wow. Yeah, and that's the thing. People get into this thing that, okay, if I can't have them, no one can. We hear those things. Yes, in the bushes. No, that's true. That could be. The one thing you may that I think this came up before you got in, though, is there what was video footage, okay, like ring cam type footage, and that picked up the gun sound. So I'm taking it as it was loud enough that it should have been heard. And but it was picked up by the video camera. And and kids did hear it. Yes, I wish the kids had called, but you know what? Kids had to be scared so bad. And hiding, that's what you're told. Okay, if someone comes into the house as a child, you're told you hide and you don't come out until someone comes and gets you. Okay, that's kind of the thought process that children are taught. If someone comes into the house, they shouldn't have to be taught this, but if someone comes into the house, stay hidden until someone comes, the police come, and you're safe. And that's what they did. The road, I think I have her. Let me double check that if that's the one I think I have her that. Ohio. Yes, I think I have. I need to go back and read that one, but I think I did that earlier this year. Or was that last year? I got to take a look at that, Scotty. And so their family is still going through because that's a recent case then. And yeah, it's when you go through things. I mean, even till this day, Ariel, I talk with grandma. I talk with family, and these things don't leave. They don't leave. And this kid, a 13-year-old, is never going to forget that look. Okay, as they go around the corner to check on mom and dad, and they see them in their bed. And that you can hear a sound with one, it's just not booming loud, and that's very, very possible. It would be interesting, and that's why I've kind of tried to walk that line there, because I always try to give the chance. It's in the middle of the night. We do know it's nighttime, so people should have been home. It wasn't like during daytime where people could have been at work or something like that. I keep thinking, oh my, thank God none of these kids were hurt. Just thank God for that.
We're praying for justice for both Sean and Crimea, and just so that the kids can have some sort of peace.
I can assure the public and the family of the victims, we're going to do everything we can to bring this person or persons to justice.
If you know any.
Good question, Scotty. I don't know if it would have been how many you can get out of one. Guys, anyone in chat have the answer to that? Would you, for 42 rounds, would a high capacity? I don't know. Let me actually check that. High capacity. I don't know what type of weapon it was, other than it was a pew-pew. High capacity. Let's check that magazine. I have a funny film, but it also depends on it type of clip. Is that what you're saying? And also, my guess is this person knew this was definitely, it does depend on the clip. And also, it's going to be interesting as the reports come out on this one, what we can get. Okay, state laws. A lot of laws do limit the amount, the capacity. Let's see, between 1994 and 2004, the federal assault weapons ban was put in place, which included ban on high. But you know what? This is my issue with any of this type of stuff. Just because something is outlawed does not mean you can't find it. We unfortunately know that way too well. Okay. People can get whatever they want to put their hand on, especially if it's someone who is from the crime world to begin with, which I don't know why, but part of me feels like that's probably true in this case. But it looks like the new laws kind of prohibited magazines over 10 rounds, but you can get, people can get whatever they want. So, you can 3D print ones too in the bushes. Wow. Well, yeah, makes sense. You can 3D print almost anything nowadays. That's for sure. So, wow. I was actually just the other day at the dentist, and I was talking to the dentist about how things are progressing and science and stuff like that. He says they're literally starting to work on the ability for the tooth to regrow a new tooth. It's kind of like the holy grail of teeth. Right now, you get an implant put in, they're fake. but they're actually working on a way to get the body to grow a new one. It amazes me. Yep, you can. You can print anything. So, she was yeah. There, okay. That is that clap. Oh, and yeah, it's really as you connect with these cases, especially
Anything about this case, you're encouraged to reach out to the Frederick County Sheriff's Office.
So we're
Their
right
number is 301-600-3640. For now, reporting live in Baltimore City, Tara Lynch.
So that's the story from the news. Now, what I want to do is, I don't know what happened here, but of course, my computer is going to start up right now. So hopefully it's working right now, and you guys are I can talk to you while it's freezing, and we'll see if this works. Okay. Am I here? Am I here, guys? And so let's see. Give me a yes if you guys can actually still see me here real quickly. I'm hoping you guys can. However, I just lost my last thing I wanted to share with you guys. So I'm just going to pull it back up real quickly. Let me see. Okay, you guys can. Awesome. Okay, while I'm pulling this up, you guys remember back in the days, like the Daily Mail and stuff like that were a joke. And it was just totally a joke at the time. And it's much better. They are starting to do good jobs with sharing stories. Yes, they still go way out there and do all sorts of fun stuff, but okay, whatever. One of the things I've been very happy about here is they are taking true crime seriously. They are taking the rights of others very seriously, especially children. And also, sorry, it's taken me a second to bring this all up. Here we go. Okay. So Daily Mail did an article on this. And one of the things that I used to get so mad at is they used to show pictures of children and stuff like that. And they don't do that anymore, which I really appreciate, especially when I come trying to show things. So anyhow, let's see. I do not want to see that. Okay, thank you. Well, I'm going to have to see it, I guess. So let me just do that. Okay. So this was an article they did actually on this story. It has a little bit more information and kind of gives you a face to the family. And when you hear like that one lady talk about when she met Crimea, she knew she had a friend for life and all, you can see it in them. And also going through this, so 4 young siblings hid in terror inside their Maryland home for hours. So again, if we're looking at the ex-husband being in Florida, okay, and then Maryland, chances are, unless he sets something up, that alibi is probably going to hold at this point. Authorities described a crime of rage and anger inside the house of Crimea Melita Baker, 33, and Sean Lange, 34, after they were shot 42 times at close range in their bedroom in New Market. Baker was the mother of all 4 children, and Lange was the father of one of the children, with Baker's social media showing she recently gave birth in February. So knowing now we've got a baby who's about 8 months old. So my guess is you're talking 8 months to 13 years as the age of these 4 children whose lives have been changed completely. Officials have not identified any suspects or motive in the investigation, and police did not comment on where there were signs of break-in, whether there were or not. So here you're actually getting to see the 2 of them. Okay, but yeah, that Sean and her, and then baby. Something tells me this is probably one of the more recent. I'm not sure if we're looking at one of the older children or another family friend or thing like that. I like the little stuffed animal there. That is adorable. But you can see the love in this family. Okay, as I said, they just built that house, trying to provide this nice, stable home life for the 4 children. Okay, you can see the love and the care and the support for each other in all these pictures. And police were called to the house at 7 a.m. Tuesday morning, but said the shooting unfolded about 1:30 to 7 a.m. Those kids sat hiding. I don't know if they were hiding under a bed, or I'm thinking probably under the bed. And yeah, Scotty, these little, that amount of time, 1:30 in the morning, 4.5 hours, is that something like that? When asked at a press conference to explain the hours-long delay, Sheriff Chuck Jenkins said the children hid in the house for hours until they felt it was safe for them to emerge. Could you see that oldest 13-year-old thinking in her head, do I leave now? Should I stay here longer? What if I leave and there's still someone here and they'll kill me and my siblings? Think about all of those decisions that child had to make. And Jenkins declined to confirm whether one of the children made the 911 call to police, and said while the children were unharmed, they were traumatized by the tragedy. I can't imagine what is going through their minds, Jenkins said. One of the children discovered his mom and the gentleman in the bed dead at the time. I can just say their life is destroyed. It's upside down right now. While no motive or suspect has been identified, and still has not been identified, guys, and that's why I wanted to cover this, because hopefully we'll start getting a better idea of who the suspect is. But these kids did not see the suspect either. So I don't know if that video camera, that Ring camera, whatever it was that caught the audio, did it catch this person coming in or not? Police are holding a lot of stuff tight to the vest still. So we'll have to see what's going on at that point. Let me see. I can't imagine what is going through their minds, Jenkins said. One of the children discovered, while no motive, or suspect has been identified, Jenkins said that early indications are that the couple were targeted. Yeah. As he noted that the detectives found 42 shell casings around their bed. This was a heinous, targeted double murder, a crime of rage and anger, the sheriff added. They do need video footage, BC. They truly do need that. And she was the Crimea was mom of all four of the kids, and Sean was dad of one of them. And I'm suspecting maybe the baby here. Okay, that's what I'm suspecting. Authorities said that although the investigation is still in its early stages, they do not believe that the deaths to be murder-suicide. Someone asked that during the press conference, and the guy's like, no, not with that amount of shell casings over a whole area with them. No. Jenkins described it as the type of crime that shocks the conscience, but insisted that there is absolutely no reason to believe there is any risk or threat to the local public at large. That's them telling you that this was targeted. This was not someone wandering around the neighborhood at night thinking, oh, that looks like the house I want to go to. This was definitely targeted. And that makes sense with the amount of violence that you're seeing in it. I can assure the public that every available investigator and agency resource will be brought to bear in this case until the person or persons responsible are identified, arrested, and brought to justice. Baker was described by a friend in a heartbreaking Facebook tribute as a doting and hardworking mom who raised resilient, thoughtful, tender-hearted children. Even as I look through our videos, I notice how every single one of them is filled with laughter, her friend wrote. In a previous GoFundMe created by Baker in 2018, the mother of four described herself as a domestic violence survivor and asked for funds to hire a lawyer for a divorce. I think this is part of the reason why people started looking at the red flags that are out there. And they're still out there. Okay, there's still always ways things can happen. Okay, but we need to be open to other possibilities too. This past year has been the most difficult, heartbreaking, and challenging year of my life, she wrote. From surviving the pain and anxiety caused by physical abuse and emotional abuse, I can't even completely and fully describe the range of emotions. Baker wrote that her children's allegedly abusive father and his mother hid her children from her. And at the time, she was scrambling to locate them and bring them home. This is heartbreaking as I don't have the financial resources to properly fight against this. He is unstable mentally and already his reports of threatening family with a loaded weapon, she wrote. So you can see these red flags. You can see why people were like, yeah, and still may yet. I mean, we remember our 2 women from Texas-Kansas border. Okay, we know what can happen when people, okay, Scotty, you just talked about it. When people want custody of children, how far they're willing to go. Okay, it's sad, but it's true. Anyone with information is asked to contact Detective Reese at 301-600-3640. BC is saying what we got. I read many posts from families saying how Crimea was their child's speech therapist. That, guys, a speech therapist as an adult is one thing. You're dealing more with specifics, okay, on how to utilize speech and make sounds. As a child, a lot of times as a speech therapist, you're not just looking at how you speak, but the emotions behind it too. And that shows for her to be to do anything with children, you have to have that patient, caring heart. Because you can't just force a child to do whatever they want. You've got to find a way to do. So that says a lot about who she was. Yeah, actually, Arare, yeah, it really, in a way, you got it. I mean, how many times? I don't know the full story, but my gut is saying you probably have it well put right there. Okay, because family court just, it works in many cases. Don't get me wrong. It does work in many cases. I've known many cases, many friends where the family court system or the system at large, okay, CPS, CFS, things like that. Okay, it works. I've seen that. But then there's other cases right there where it does not work. Okay, where other things are put in front of a child's welfare. And also, oh, all right, thank you so much. Thank you. And this one, honestly, BC brought this to me this morning, and I was trying to figure out what to cover. And there's someone right now out there getting away with this. Someone out there. Now, whether it is a ex-husband, whether it is someone tied to that ex-husband, whether it is someone tied to not Crimea, but tied to maybe Sean. I don't know. But I can tell you right now, this was not a stranger at all. There's no way this was a stranger, guys. Okay, stranger would have torn up that house looking for anyone else. This was someone who my suspicion is knew that there were kids in that house, which makes me even more pissed off at it because they knew there were children in that house, and this could have gone bad very, very quickly. I mean, oh, that just chills my blood to realize that chances are this is someone who knew, okay, Crimea or Sean, and based off of that, knew that there were kids there. Knew that there were kids that whole life was going to be changed and all. So we're going to be hearing more about this. This is definitely one of those cases that I will be adding on, like I said, with Misha and all. The kids need yeah, you've got a good point there. Okay, BC, if no one catches this person, okay, or people or whatever, okay, because we don't know, could someone else have paid to have something done? Usually you pay, you're not going to have 42 rounds, so I'm thinking it's probably someone hands-on in this whole thing. But as long as that person's out there, these kids are going to bed every night wondering if that person's going to come right back through the door and finish a job. And they're not thinking that, oh, well, whoever it is probably doesn't want to hurt us kids or anything. They just wanted to get access to, or whatever it is. And I'm sorry, I know I'm speculating a lot on this myself. And they're not thinking that way. They're just thinking the fact is someone came into the place. They're supposed to feel safe. Okay, your house is your safe zone, especially as a child. That is where you are meant to be safe. And they took all of that away from them. So hopefully they'll find out something soon. The local news seems to be covering this. I do have that to say. Local news is covering this. However, based off of the fact that you've got people who are connected to the lives of those who lost their life from other states, this does need to spread. It's kind of like with Misha's case where, okay, DJ is not from Hawaii, even though Misha is from Hawaii, okay, and lost her life in Hawaii. DJ is from the mainland. And the people he spoke to most of the time are there, his friends, things like that. So we have to reach out to those other areas. So maybe it is talking to people in Florida or any other locations, fill in the blank, whatever that location is. Just looked up her profile. She owns and runs an organization called Children Matter First. How to see, and that's the thing. If you go back to the video I was showing, I already closed it accidentally, but they built that house from scratch. She was trying to make a difference in her kids' lives. You hear that when you hear, okay, friends talking about what she tried to do. It sounds like her kids were taken from her by other family members. And she worked long and hard to get them back. And friends talked about what a wonderful person she is and how they go back looking at videos of her and everyone's laughing and stuff like that. And someone out there did not like the fact that other people could be happy and that they did not have, maybe they didn't have the kids. I don't know. But what does need to happen is they need to be caught, and they need to be caught quickly so these kids can start sleeping a little bit better at night, because they're not ever going to sleep well at night for a long time just based off of the fact that they've lost mom and the man who was probably in their life at the time. And they're not going to live asleep comfortably, but maybe the fear won't be as strong if grandmas or aunties or uncles can come in and say, you know what, the bad man or the bad woman has been put away and you're okay. You're okay. Let's remember mom. Let's look at her picture and say goodnight to her every night and stuff like that. But you're safe. So that's where we got to share this out, guys. Plain and simple. We got to share this out because someone somewhere has all this information and they know and they can share it. So with that, I will keep up on this. I'm going to, hey, DC, how you doing, my dear? You just caught me right as I was getting to log off here. Hey, DC, how you doing, my dear? And so I am going to see about joining that Facebook group. If there's any, I don't even know if there's a Facebook group on this yet, to be honest, guys. That's how under discussed this case is. I do want to give you guys, before I go to sleep, though, there is a new Misha page. For those of you who are following Misha's case, her family has started a page where they wanted to share updates that were official. Okay, we can all talk. We can all, speculate and stuff like that. But right now, we're going after justice. We want justice for Misha. Okay, we want justice for baby Armani, her little baby who was never born because, Misha's husband and baby's dad decided to take their lives. Okay, they are looking for her every day. CID has been working so hard on getting, real justice. They have found that the dirtbag known as a DJ has also been creating and distributing porn, child porn. And also, they're going to get justice, but we need to find her right now. So we're trying to get the word out. So please keep an eye out on that group. I just shared the group out. This is run officially by the family. They're very thankful for the other groups that are out there, but what they wanted to do was have a certain little place where they could collect search information and all the facts as the facts are. And so that's what that is. So if you want the facts and just the facts, that's where it is. And if I do find out about a group, and yeah, BC hasn't seen one either for Crimea and her husband, we will definitely get that shared out. I'll share that out on the community tab. So we'll let you know about that. So, but I am on my way. Got to cook some dinner real quickly and got to go deal with these little runts. Yeah, the diva's always sitting next to me. No one else is allowed to sit next to me, are they? No. And I got, well, wait, is Pia? No, Pia's not over there even. So they're hungry. That's what they are. They want to go eat. So I'm going to go give them food. So I will see y'all Wednesday. Hopefully Sleuth and I will go live Friday. Let you guys know what's going on. I have Honolulu Comic Con this weekend, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, set up Thursday. So I will be at the convention center that day. So based off of that, I'm going to see if by any chance, if I can't do a live on Thursday to do the end of the week update, I'll see if I can get someone to cover this booth for me long enough so I can come and at least do a real quick, true crime update with the news updates for the week, especially if we have updates on these cases. So keep an eye out. I'll let you know about that. It's always a little hard. It depends on what the Wi-Fi is like at the convention center. Sometimes it's great, sometimes it's not. Last week when I did this last time with the Made in Hawaii, it sucked. So we'll see. This week might be better because we won't have 70,000 people coming through the door. So we'll see. But I will talk to y'all later. Aloha. Thank you guys. For those of you who help send me cases and all, I really appreciate it because there's so much going on out there. Sometimes it's hard to find cases, and zero in because my mind goes all over the place. So I really want to say thank you so much. And I will talk to y'all later. Aloha, mahalo, and I will talk to you.